Okay, raise your hand if you're tired of sending your resume out into the abyss and never hearing anything back. Can I get an amen? Raise your hand, preach it to the choir. If this is you, this is the video for you. I'm Bree. I'm an RN, NP mentor, interview strategist, content creator. I help people acquire their dream job, in particular nurse practitioners who are, let's face it, out there in a sea full of people who are looking for nurse practitioner jobs. It's competitive. I don't care what part of the nation you live in, it's tough. So interviewing is a huge piece of this. This is what I mainly focus on, but it starts with getting the interview. And while I'm not a resume writer, I see a lot of them come across my desk, and I would say the vast majority of them are getting it wrong. So in the last couple of months, I had somebody that submitted one that is what I consider to be the perfect resume. And honestly, I think seeing is believing. If you can see samples of what the competition is doing, I think that can be very, very helpful. So if you're in this part of your life, this is the video for you. Thank you for joining us. Again, my name is Bree. I'm an RN, NP mentor, interview strategist, content creator. Welcome to the channel. Okay, a little bit of backstory here. This is an FNP who came to me. She's looking for entrance into a very competitive residency program. I have de-identified everything here. She would like to remain anonymous, and I want to respect that. But what you will see here, I'm zoomed out so you can see the full thing. It is a 2-page resume, and then we'll zoom in and go through each part sequentially. But the formatting errors are there because I did the de-identification. So typically, I mean, like if you saw it beforehand, it didn't look like that. There are parts that are bold. There are parts that are in different font than the rest of them. That's where I have changed things. So just be aware of that. We're not going to focus so much on the formatting issues or the spelling, grammatical issues. It's more the presentation and the information that she gave and how relevant it is to the job or the program that she was applying for. This also goes if you are applying for a school. So let's just get right to it. Okay, so first and foremost, I'm a very visual person. Even if you're not a visual person, I think it is very pleasing to the eye when things are well organized and not just like a whole list of bullets with sub-bullets underneath it, which I do see sometimes from folks. There are a lot of templates out there. I'm going to plug a resume writer that I really like later on, but for right now, let me just say it is very, very helpful if you can find a professionally formatted template. You can find some free ones. I think there are some on like Google Docs or even built into your computer. I think on my Pages, I'll have a Mac, so in Pages they have some samples as well too. Use something that looks professional and that organizes stuff in a very easy to read format, because it's a lot of words, right? Make it easy for them. Okay, so from the get-go here, at the top, she has her name and she has the certification for which she is applying, like the position she's applying to. So even if not currently an FNP, if you're a FNP elect, if you're in school, you need to put FNP/S, FNP/elect, something along those lines, because you want it to state the position for which you are applying, not for which you are currently working. Obviously, down in here, it's going to say where you're working currently, but you need to reflect what it is you're applying for, because this is how you get past these AI systems, all the automated stuff that will kick you out if you're not the proper fit for the job. And this is a mistake that I do see somewhat commonly, is that people will put that they are an RN and then they will put somewhere down in here that they will graduate soon. Don't do that. Put up here what you are and the job for which you are applying. Next, and this is probably one of my most favorite things to talk about when it comes to resume, because this is where most people fail, is in the very top under professional profiles, how she labeled it. Some people will label it objective. What I commonly see are like 2 sentences where someone will say, you know, currently working RN, seeking a job, blah. And they'll say what it is that they're looking for. Well, that's great. That's all good and well. But what they want to know is, yeah, I already know you're probably interested in what we have to offer. Otherwise, you wouldn't have applied. I don't really care so much what it is you're looking for. I want to know what it is you can offer me. So give me a summary. This is basically a summarization of what you bring to the table from an experience level, from a personal traits level, they call these transferable skills. These are skills that people possess that will carry over from one job to the next, no matter what you do, that are desirable. Things like communication, adaptability, organization, leadership, all of these kind of things are valuable. And you want to talk about that here in the professional profile section. So what makes this one super duper special is that she starts off by integrating her background and using the technical skills she has attained in her background in combination with the transferable skills she's developed as a human being and that she naturally is good at to show how she's the overall perfect package. So let me just read it off to you, okay? Trained in patient-centric primary care, focusing on populations across the lifespans in their respective specialty. Let's pause there for a minute. Okay, this section, let me just highlight this so y'all can see it. That section right there, why is this important? While this is somewhat self-evident because she's FNP, this is what FNPs do, somewhere in your resume you need just one time to say these specific things that illustrate what FNPs do. She treats people across the lifespan. Those are buzzwords, those are keywords that these computer systems are looking for. They are the buzzwords that match up to the job of what an FNP would do. So you need to have said this at least once somewhere in your resume that this is what you do. This is what you are trained to do. So she continues on, committed, empathetic, and resourceful. Okay, all very transferable skills that go from one job to another. Awesome. We love people who are empathetic and resourceful and committed. Wonderful. Registered nurse with over 13 years experience, which is great. The amount of experience you have working at the bedside as a nurse, do not underestimate. And then she goes on to talk about the specific skills that she's developed, like what settings has she worked in. She has worked in emergency and progressive care settings. Within that role, she functioned as a triage nurse in the ED with the ability to make time-sensitive clinical decision-making, again, transferable skill. And she's a preceptor who provides mentorship, transferable skill, and serves as a resource to other nurses. A passionate healthcare provider with strengths in creating rapport with patients, families, staff, and colleagues while providing effective diagnosis, assessment, evaluation, and treatment plans and education. This, again, feels a little bit like fluff. But she said it one time to highlight that these are skills that nurse practitioners are required to have. And if you look at job postings, if you go to Indeed and look at the job postings for NPs, it's going to say some stuff like this. Assess, diagnose, treat. This is what we do. You don't need to say it repeatedly because it's fluff, but say it one time so that you kind of link up with those jobs that match, that have the same buzzwords, so they're going to match you with the perfect job. This is just further highlighting that she is a nurse practitioner and she is applying for a nurse practitioner job. Match, match. Then she talks about the various types of EMRs that she's proficient with, which I think is super helpful because that already is telling me my number one thing that I'm going to be looking at is how long is it going to take to get this person up and running and producing for us, and particularly for somebody who's a new grad. So this person has multiple different EMRs she has experience with, which is unique about her because not many people probably have all that. So anything that sets you apart from your competition, put a sentence or two in there about that. So this is one paragraph. I think this is the appropriate length. It gives me a real good perspective and view of who she is, what she brings to the table. It doesn't tell me what she's looking for. Not once in here does she say, I'm looking for a role in the ER at a level 1 with a 6-month orientation. She doesn't say that. What she says is, here's what I have to offer you. And that is awesome. Hey friend, are you in the market for a new or possibly even your first job? And are you frustrated by a lack of offers? If this is the case, one of two things is happening. Either the competition has better qualifications than you do, or the competition is interviewing better than you are. And guess which of these two you have control over? That's right, just yourself. You and yourself. You only have control over what you do in life. Now, what I find is that most nurses and NPs were never taught how to interview, nor have they researched how to do it. We need to take a number from our friends at the School of Business who know how to sell themselves. We can do it too. I help people by offering mock interviews where they get to practice their skills, and I also offer an on-demand digital course that is 19 videos totaling 3 hours and 9 PDFs. It's going to walk you through start to finish how to get ready for and deliver the performance of your career. It is going to be the most lucrative investment you could possibly make for the entirety of your career, the return on investment is phenomenal. Y'all, I've been doing mock interviews for a year. I am extremely proud to tell you that I have a 100% success rate within 2 months, and that's really only because of one outlier. Everyone has gotten a job offer, and it brings me such joy to know that people are landing their dream jobs. I'm not talking even like the second option. They're landing their dream jobs, people. There is a way to perfect this skill, and you really have to invest in it. I know you're tired of studying, but it takes a little bit of time and a little bit of preparation. You will alleviate a lot of the nerves and fears, and you'll be able to show your personality, and they will be wanting to offer you a job before you even leave the room. I can't tell you how many of my clients have told me they have heard those words. So if you're in the market for some help, please go check out my website at briemp.com to either schedule a mock interview or look into the digital course if that's right for you. Thanks for listening, and thanks so much for watching my videos. What I like about her resume is that she has segmented things out. So on the right-hand side, you're going to see like her profile that tells me about her and more about the details of her rotations and her experience as a nurse. All of the information I need to ascertain what she already has experience with, so I can determine if she's a good fit and how much we're going to have to train her. And on the left is all the like check boxes, all the required information needed to find out, here's her contact where we can get in touch with her. Here's her information about where she went to school. Do not underestimate the reputation of the school that you go to as a new grad. If they don't know you, it's huge. I won't go on that soapbox here, friends, but this is basically just checking off all the boxes. Here's all my numbers. Here's all the stuff to prove that yes, I am who I say I am. Okay, so let's get back to the right-hand side of the screen. So after she talks about her professional profile, she goes straight into her experience as an NP. This is huge. This is huge. This is where most people fail to do things correctly. You need to highlight your skills as a nurse practitioner. And if you have no experience working as an NP, well, you're wrong. You do. You spent how many hours doing clinical rotations learning to be an NP? I want to know as much as I possibly can about that, because that's how I'm going to see you. The more they see on your resume is the more about how they see you as a person and as a professional. And if you start off saying all these wonderful jobs you've had as an RN, for example, I had a gazillion jobs as a nurse. So my resume was kind of long. It was hard for me to parcel it down. But you don't need to give me a ton of details about you as a nurse. I just need to know the basics about how many years, what type of patients you treated, what type of settings you worked in. Because it is important, but it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is what experience do you have as an NP? And if all the experience you have as an NP is as a student, give me details about that. So she absolutely does that. She goes straight into her rotations, and beyond that, she breaks it down into the course, which I like because it also tells me the focus of what she was learning in that rotation. So she starts out with what course it was, where it was. She gives me the name of her preceptor. Y'all, I'm going to highlight that. This is huge. This is huge. Nobody ever does this. And the reason this is important, it would be even better if she had put the phone number here or the email, some type of contact, because it automatically is telling me she is not afraid to tell me who the people were that precepted her, and she's not afraid for me to talk to them because she's confident in what she did. So these are the people we are probably going to call to get references. So if you've already given me this information, I'm not going to have to ask you. It's awesome. She also tells me how much time she spent there. A lot of people fail to do that. That's huge. If you spent, sometimes I'll get resumes from folks that have spent the entirety of their training at one spot. And that's okay. That is okay. But you want to give me a lot of details about what you did in that one spot. I recently had somebody I did a mock interview for, and she'd only done one rotation, and she really felt it was a weakness for her and she didn't want to talk too much about it in her resume. I said, no, exactly the opposite. Because at the end of that time frame, she was seeing 12 patients independently, as she should have, because she spent over a year with this person. So that's huge. Not many people, particularly in an outpatient setting, get to where they are seeing that many people independently as a student. You are starting ahead of the game. So highlight the amount of time you spent with this person, the amount of patients that you saw independently, anything you can tell me about the specific type of diagnoses that you treated. It really, really helps. She doesn't do that so much up here, but in this one she does. This was a women's health rotation. She talks about who she treated and the primary things that she saw there, which is huge. Because if she was applying to a women's health position, or maybe she was applying to an FNP like primary care job where they needed an NP who was proficient in managing STIs, doing PAPs, that kind of thing, it's helpful to know what she's already done in that regards. So I really, really love the details that she has put. I think 3 to 4 bullet points under each rotation is great. The hours, number of patients you're seeing, primary diagnoses you're seeing, how many patients you saw independently, any procedures you did. Here she had some procedures she got in and she was able to talk about that. That's great. I'm really able to picture her as an NP and how long it will take me to get her where I need her to be. This one as well. So this one was primary care. I believe it was kind of like an urgent care type of, I believe it was. So she was doing some injections, INDs. Definitely highlight the procedures that you've done. All right, let me see if I can get to page 2 here. Okay, so continuing on, this is the last little bullet point on her NP rotation, and then it goes down to her work experience. So this is a person who has been working for a long time as an RN. She's had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jobs as an RN, and she was still able to fit all of this stuff into 2 pages. So that is perfectly appropriate. For the most part with the RN jobs, you're going to want to keep them to a couple of bullet points. I think 4 is probably getting a little bit on the long side, but hers is very specialized. It also gives me relevant information that is helpful. So I think it's fine how she did it. It didn't get too wordy, so I think it's fine. In general, I recommend 2 to 3 bullet points. Something that tells me what you did there. Okay, so she worked as a triage nurse. She talks about the fact that she saw a fair amount of traumas there and talked about trauma-specific things. So it gives me a picture of what it was she was able to do at this very high acute setting trauma center she was at. Here's her second job, similar kind of thing. At this particular role, she had some experience with psych, so she put that in there. So it's going to tell me a little bit more about how she also has experience there. Here we go on to another facility. She talked about specific types of problems and or / procedures that she did there. And because these didn't really offer anything differently, she didn't add anything to it. It's not really necessary. It just shows me that she had a lot of years experience. This is her first job, and because it was a different role in a telemetry position, she talks about the specific types of things that she did and patients that she cared for there. So this is very, very helpful. Do not underestimate your RN experience. It's huge. Now, I want to bring your attention back to the left-hand side of the screen. So after she talks about her relevant certifications and whatnot, the organization she's a part of, this section right here, love it. These are specific technical skills that she has obtained in her years of experience that will help her in this role that she was applying for. So in this residency, it was specific to the background that she has, and these skills will help show that she already has a strong foundation as a nurse in these particular skills. It's very quick, easy to look at. I can very rapidly see her as a nurse and as an NP and determine if she's the right fit for this role. I think overall this is a really, really great resume. One of the best that I've ever seen. I really didn't have much to offer her. When I bring people in and I create these mock interviews for them, I go through their resume with a fine-tooth comb, and I always give them feedback on the resume as well. I had nothing I could tell her, and I felt kind of bad. But it's just rare that I see something that is so concise and easy to read with the perfect information to get her past the computer systems, to get her callbacks, and easy for someone who's sitting down at a desk who was handed a resume 5 minutes ago and told to go interview this person that they don't know. It's very, very quick and easy to look through and see what she's good at, what experience she has, and what I need to ask her. So I love this. I want to talk for just a minute about templates. So again, as I talked about in the beginning, it doesn't really matter what you use as long as you use some type of template to make things easier on the eyes, so it's not just a bunch of words. There are a lot of services who will write resumes for you, in particular for nurses and NPs. If you're going to use a resume writer, I highly suggest that you use someone that works in the profession that you work in, because it's more than just like organizing information. It truly is about taking your specific technical and transferable skills and applying them towards the job for which you are looking at getting. And my advice to people is to have a bunch of different resumes, and your resume should be tweaked just a little bit for the role for which you are applying. So like she's talking a little bit about her emergency room experience and some transferable skills that are really important in urgent or emergent care type of role. What if you were applying to a cardiology position? What if you were applying to a palliative care position? You're going to want to use different buzzwords for that because they all value a little bit different things. You want, particularly in this summary or profile section, you really want it to highlight the exact skills that each team is looking for. So that is why I really, really love the Resume RX so much. And you just have to bear with me for a second because I got to plug her stuff. I am an affiliate for Amanda Garnieri of the Resume RX. She's the only person I have ever agreed to do affiliations with. And the reason is I use her and I think that her stuff is amazing when it comes to creating custom crafted resumes for nurses and NPs. And I want to show you just briefly about what she offers. You're going to have to forgive the salesy part of this, but I just think it is a very affordable and super, super, super effective way of helping you land your dream job. She has a lot of DIY stuff, and her templates are thebomb.com, and I don't care. It's still cool to say that, and I'm going to say it. This is my favorite thing that she does. I have my resume through her as well. So here's the thing. If you're going to hire someone to either write your resume for you or use their template, you need to be purchasing this information from somebody who works in the profession that you want to work in. It matters because any Joe Schmo can write a resume for you. But if you have someone who can teach you how to write a resume specific for the job that you are applying to, and they know the buzzwords, they know what the hiring people are looking for, it's going to be different in every job in the world. Someone who's applying for an academic job is going to need a CV. Someone who is applying to like become a pilot or work for a financial organization is going to require different things. These companies are looking for specific technical and transferable skills. And if you know what they're looking for, you know how to help others write a resume that speaks to those people. So make sure you hire someone who works in the profession you work in. So my favorite thing about her templates is that within them, I don't know if I can find this part. So it doesn't even say it in here, but it does include it, is my favorite piece, which is it's a bullet bank. So it is a huge list of transferable and technical skills that are required for each specialty. So if you are going to be a GI nurse, what specific skill sets is a hiring GI team looking for versus a surgical team? And they're just a little bit different. And if you know what they're looking for, you know how to weave those words into your resume. And that's what will get you past the automated stuff. And that's what you can talk about in your interview. So definitely go check out her offerings. She also, as a part of Nurses Week, is offering a special that is, 30% off her template bundles. So you have to use the link in the description below in my video and then use a code at checkout that says Nurses Week. So I'll include a link and all the information in the description of the video, but definitely take advantage of that. The dates are only for Nurses Week, so 5/8 through 5/12. But I think that could be hugely helpful to you guys. And let me just take a moment and say, if you are a nurse, my friends, if you are a nurse and you are working in the trenches, let me just tell you, even if you are watching this and it is not Nurses Week, please know how very much you are respected and appreciated for continuing to fight the good fight. We all have been in those shoes. If we're a nurse practitioner, we were a nurse for a while, and we know what you're battling and how things have changed over the years and how the man has made it difficult to be a nurse now. I so love you and appreciate you and thank you for everything that you do, not just this week, but every single week. So thanks for coming on and watching these videos and supporting my channel. Have a good week, y'all.